The Funk Hazard Incident. The Funk Hazard Incident is a theory that has basically been confirmed to be canon based on both story intent and Oda's statements over time, but is a story that you need to really pay attention to be able to understand. I'm actually surprised at how many people aren't really aware of the sub-story that Oda weaved into the main plot all throughout One Piece's narrative post-time skip. This is a very important piece of the puzzle in terms of post-time skip One Piece, and I think the reason that people are upset about One Piece post-time skip is because of the fact that they aren't fully aware of Funk Hazard and its implications. So I think it's fair to start with the dissection of some of the key players of the Funk Hazard incident this time around, and then we can go into the meat of the actual Funk Hazard discussion in part 2. DOFLAMINGO. DOFLAMINGO is an extremely important character in relation to the themes and message of the Funk Hazard incident, and serves as a fantastic setup pre-time skip. For those who need a little refresher, DOFLAMINGO is a former warlord of the sea and the main antagonist of the Dressrosa arc, as well as serving as the first true primary villain for the Straw Hats in the New World. I think it's important to dissect the surface level theming of DOFLAMINGO and the arc where he served as main antagonist in order to set up for the next video. I'll start with Dofi, and then lead into how he informs the themes of Dressrosa. DOFLAMINGO is a character of dichotomy, of duality. He's a character who is a puppet master and an agent of chaos. He is the oracle of the new era of pirates and seems fully willing to embrace it, yet he is the first casualty, and a necessary casualty, in order to fully usher in the new age. His moniker is literally the Heavenly Demon. He embodies duality and showcases hypocrisy in his inability to acknowledge that his role is in stark opposition to the new age, that he is all too willing to accept. He wanted a world where only the strong would survive, yet he was too weak to keep his position. Another example of his duality is the role that he plays versus the role his subjects view him as fulfilling. He saved the people of Dressrosa from the monstrous King Riku, but unbeknownst to them, he was the one who orchestrated the whole affair. Dressrosa itself is a nation of duality, the outward beauty versus the horrific tragedy underneath the surface. People literally being turned into toys. Everyone in Dressrosa is a toy for DOFLAMINGO to play with, even without being turned into toys by sugar. There's also a clash in terms of DOFLAMINGO and the country of Dressrosa. Dressrosa is a land of passion and love, which is contrasted by DOFLAMINGO's seething hate. DOFLAMINGO led the people without embodying what his country embodied. He was also taken down in a sort of thematic way. He lorded over the people like a god, and was taken down by Luffy, a member of the D-Clan, known to be the enemies of the gods. Not only that, but the final attack that took him down was the attack that blasted him right back down to Earth. Luffy also couldn't have done it without Law, though, and Law had the inherited will of Rocinante, whose Don Quixote persona was Corazon, or Heart. Law. Law is the captain of the Heart Pirates, and is less important in the grand scheme of the Funk Hazard incident, but is an important character in relation to DOFLAMINGO. His crew was named in memory of Rocinante, the man who saved him. Rocinante was a person who showed Law love and instilled a moral compass into Law after he had lost his path. He was killed by DOFLAMINGO, but his will was inherited by Law and fulfilled by Luffy. Luffy is always going to be important, as he is the main character and services as the harbinger of greater change. He embodies true and pure freedom, which is a contrast to DOFLAMINGO's restrictive puppet kingdom. He is the bringer of change, and he tears down tyrants wherever he goes. He has more nuance than just this, but this is the main crux of his character in general, and the only thing we need to really focus on in relation to the Funk Hazard incident. Kelly Funk. Kelly Funk is presented to us with a few main surface-level characteristics. He is an assassin from the Moguro Kingdom, and is the older brother to Bobby Funk. His bounty is 57 million berries, and he ate the jacket fruit, which allows him to become a jacket that other people can wear. For the most part, he usually becomes a jacket and is worn by his more physically gifted but timid brother. Kelly is belligerent and a ruthless fighter, and is shown to be very insecure about his height. He is quick to anger and very deceitful. He lured Luffy into a trap after Luffy saved him, whenever he thought that it would present him with an advantage. He's very physically gifted, but is a glass cannon. He can dish out incredible damage, but cannot take very much damage. Bobby Funk. Bobby Funk is an assassin from the Moguro Kingdom as well, and is Kelly Funk's younger brother. He has a bounty of 36 million berries. He is timid, but is incredibly large and physically gifted. He has also shown that he is a bit prideful. I'm sure that by now you've noticed that these two brothers share the last name Funk, and have probably figured that they hold some sort of significance in relevance to the greater theory. All I'm going to say in this video is that these brothers are far more significant thematically than I think most people realize. A common complaint leveled at the Dressrosa arc is that it was full of unimportant characters, but that's not an argument that can be leveled at the Funk brothers. Caesar Clown. He's a very minor player in Funk Hazard in relation to the other characters, but is important in his own small right. He is a former colleague of Dr. Vegapunk, who has been shrouded in mystery since very early on in the series. He plays the role of savior and god on the island of Punk Hazard and is taken down by the Straw Hats. He is incredibly intelligent and manipulative, but is also very prideful and gets himself into very awful situations repeatedly. Kaido. Kaido serves as an important backdrop for all of these characters throughout the New World, as he symbolizes absolute power, an immovable wall, and has been the main goal since early on in the New World. Alright, we've established the main players, so make sure to tune in next time for us to get into the meat of the actual Funk Hazard incident. Peace.